4:17 a.m. Something was very wrong. It was 4:17 in the morning. The kind of silence that doesn't feel normal. The kind that feels heavy, like the world itself is holding its breath. No cars passing by, no distant voices, no wind brushing against the windows, no movement anywhere, just stillness, deep, uncomfortable stillness. And then, out of nowhere, boom, my dogs started barking. Not normal barking, not the kind where they hear a stray cat or someone walking down the street. No, this was different. This was deep, aggressive, controlled chaos. The kind of barking that sends a message before your brain even catches up. There's a threat. My eyes snapped open instantly. No confusion, no grogginess, no delay. Because Rex and Shadow, they don't overreact. They're trained, disciplined. They don't waste energy on nothing. If they're barking like that, something is wrong. Really wrong. I stayed still in bed for a moment, not moving, just listening, letting the sound fill the room. My heart started beating faster, slow at first, then quicker, then loud enough that I could feel it in my chest. And then I heard it. A sound that didn't belong, a sound that cut through everything else. Metal, scraping against my front door. Slow, rough, deliberate, like someone was pushing something into the lock and forcing it. My entire body went cold, instantly. That wasn't a mistake. That wasn't random. That wasn't harmless. Someone was at my door at 4 in the morning, trying to get in. I didn't move right away, didn't rush, didn't make a sound. I just listened, focused, trying to understand what was happening. The scraping came again, longer this time, more aggressive. And behind it, my dogs getting louder, more intense, more protective.
That's when I slowly reached for my phone, carefully, quietly. No sudden movement, no noise, just controlled breathing, steady hands. I unlocked the screen, opened my security app, tapped on the front camera, and what I saw didn't make sense. Not at first. My brain actually paused, like it needed a second to process what it was looking at. Because standing right outside my door was Karen. Yes, that Karen. The same HOA board member who had been making my life difficult for months. The same person who always had something to say, something to complain about, something to control. But this was something else entirely. She wasn't mocking. She wasn't calling. She wasn't even pretending to act normal. She was standing close to the door, leaning slightly forward, looking down at the lock, and in her hand was a key. I stared at the screen, waiting, trying to understand, trying to make it make sense, because one question kept repeating in my mind. How does she have a key to my house? She moved again, slowly, carefully. She inserted the key into the lock, turned it. Nothing. It didn't work. She frowned, slightly, confused, annoyed. Then she looked around, quickly, left, right, checking the street, making sure no one was watching. That moment said everything, because if what she was doing was normal, she wouldn't need to check. But she did. And then, she tried again, harder this time. The scraping sound got louder, more forceful, more desperate. She pushed the key in deeper, twisted it, jammed it, trying to make it work, trying to force it into place. But it wasn't working, because it wasn't real. It wasn't fake. And that's when everything escalated. The dogs react. Rex moved first. A powerful, sudden movement.
He launched himself at the door, full weight,
full force. Thud. The sound echoed through the entire house, deep, heavy, impossible to ignore. Shadow followed instantly, faster, sharper, more intense. Both of them barking now. Not just barking, snarling, warning, protecting. Their energy filled the space, pressed against the door, pushed outward. And on the other side, Karen felt it. She jumped back, actually stepped away from the door, her body stiffening, her shoulders tightening. Her head turned quickly, scanning, looking around again. You could see it clearly now. She wasn't expecting this, not even close, because in her mind, this was supposed to be easy, quiet, controlled. But it wasn't, not anymore. How it all started. And in that moment, watching her through the screen, everything started connecting. Because this didn't start that night. No, this had been building for a long time. Karen wasn't just a neighbor. She was something else entirely. She was the kind of person who needed control, who believed rules mattered more than people, who thought authority gave her power over others. And the HOA? That was her stage, her system, her way of controlling everything around her. At first, it was small things, almost harmless. Notes about my lawn being slightly overgrown, complaints about my trash bin being visible for too long, comments about how my driveway didn't match community standards. Annoying? Yes. Serious? Not really. So I ignored it, like most people would. But Karen didn't stop. Every week, something new. A notice, a warning, a fine. Always something. Always me. And that's when I noticed something strange. No one else was dealing with this. Neighbors around me, doing the same things, parking the same way.
Leaving bins out, living normally. But they weren't getting notices. Only me. That's when I realized this wasn't random. This was targeted. The confrontation. So one day, I decided to say something at an HOA meeting in front of everyone. I didn't raise my voice, didn't make it emotional. I kept it simple, direct, calm. I asked one question. Why am I the only one getting these notices? The room went quiet. People looked at me, then at her, waiting. Karen smiled, but it wasn't friendly. It didn't reach her eyes. It wasn't warm. It wasn't normal. It was controlled, calculated. And she said, "Some homeowners need more supervision than others." That sentence stayed with me, because in that moment, everything became clear. This wasn't about rules. This wasn't about the HOA. This was personal. The first real red flags. After that meeting, things changed. Karen stopped pretending, stopped hiding behind formal notices. She became more direct, more present, more intrusive. She started showing up near my house unannounced, uninvited, walking slowly past, looking, observing, watching. Not casually, not normally, intentionally. One afternoon, I caught her near my backyard fence, just standing there, looking inside, not knocking, not calling out, just watching. When I approached her and asked what she was doing, she didn't hesitate, not even for a second. She said, "I'm checking for compliance." Compliance? In my backyard? That's when something clicked. This wasn't just annoying behavior. This wasn't just HOA enforcement. This was obsession. Why I installed cameras. That moment changed everything for me. Because now, it wasn't about inconvenience anymore.
It was about safety.
So I upgraded my system. More cameras, better angles, full coverage, front, back, sides. Every blind spot removed. Not because I was paranoid, but because something didn't feel right. And my dogs? They confirmed it. Every single time Karen came near the house, they reacted. Rex would stop what he was doing, look toward the door, body stiff. Shadow would follow, alert, focused. Low growls, tension building, eyes locked in. No barking at first, just awareness. Like they were watching her, tracking her, waiting. Dogs don't lie. They don't fake reactions. They don't misunderstand energy. And mine were telling me one thing, over and over again. Don't trust her. Back to 4:03 a.m. And now, standing there in the dark, watching her on my phone, trying to force a key into my door. Everything finally made sense. The visits, the watching, the control, the obsession. It all led to this moment. This wasn't random. This wasn't sudden. This was planned. And Karen had just crossed a line she could never uncross.
Part 2. The moment she realized she messed up. Karen stood frozen outside my door, not moving, not speaking, just staring at the handle like she was trying to understand what went wrong. Inside the house, my dogs were losing it. Rex was the first to react. He didn't just bark, he charged, full force. His body slammed into the door with a heavy, echoing thud that shook the frame. Shadow followed instantly, faster, sharper, more aggressive. Their barking wasn't random noise. It was controlled, targeted, intense. Every sound they made carried one clear warning. Leave. Now. The sound filled the entire house, echoing through the hallway, bouncing off the walls, vibrating through the door itself. And on the other side of that door, Karen felt it. You could see it in the way her shoulders tightened, the way her grip on the key shifted, the way her confidence started to crack. She looked down at the key again, slowly, like she didn't want to accept reality. Like maybe, just maybe, it would suddenly work. Like this was all just bad luck, a small mistake, something she could fix. But it wasn't. She adjusted her grip, took a breath, and stepped forward again. Carefully, slowly, testing the situation. The barking got louder, more aggressive. Rex planted himself right behind the door, low growl building in his chest. Shadow pacing side to side, waiting, ready. Karen hesitated for a second, just a second. But then, she leaned in and tried again. The key scraped against the lock, louder this time, more force, more desperation. That was her biggest mistake, because the moment she crossed that line again, Rex exploded. Another massive hit against the door, even harder than before. The impact echoed like a warning shot, followed by a deep, aggressive growl that didn't sound like a dog anymore. It sounded like a threat. Real. Immediate.
Unstoppable. Shadow matched him instantly, barking faster, sharper, more intense with every second. The energy between them built rapidly, like a storm hitting its peak. Karen jumped back, hard. This time there was no hesitation, no control. Her body reacted before her mind could catch up. Her hands shook. The key slipped slightly between her fingers. Her breathing changed. Faster, uneven. And just like that, everything about her changed. The posture she always carried, gone. The confidence, gone. The authority she used to walk around with, completely gone. Now, there was only one thing left. Fear. She looked at the door again, but this time, she wasn't looking at it like she could control it. She was looking at it like it might break open at any second. like something on the other side was about to come through. And for the first time since I had ever seen her, Karen looked small, not powerful, not in charge, just small. And in that moment, you could see it clearly, the realization, the shift, the truth finally hitting her. She was not in control anymore. The rules didn't matter here. The HOA didn't matter. Her title didn't matter. None of it mattered, because this wasn't her territory. She took one step back, slow, careful, eyes still locked on the door. Then another, faster this time. The barking didn't stop. If anything, it got louder, more aggressive, like the dogs were pushing her further away without even touching her. Karen's head turned slightly, looking around, checking if anyone was watching, if anyone could see her like this. But it didn't matter, because at this point, she wasn't trying to look important anymore. She was trying to get away. She took another step back, then another, faster now, her movements less controlled, more reactive. Then finally, she turned
and walked away, quickly, not running, but close enough. Her steps uneven, her shoulders tight, her head slightly lowered, like she was trying to shrink, trying to disappear into the darkness. And within seconds, she was gone. The barking slowly started to settle. Rex still standing at the door, alert, listening, ready. Shadow pacing one last time before stopping beside him. Silence started to return, but it wasn't the same silence as before. This one felt different, heavier, like something had just happened, something that couldn't be undone. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't just an incident. This was evidence. But she forgot one thing. Karen thought it was over. She thought walking away would erase everything, that if she just left fast enough, quiet enough, no one would know, no one would prove it. But she forgot something very important, something people like her always forget. Cameras don't forget. I had everything, every second, every movement, every decision she made, recorded, saved, backed up. I replayed the footage, once, then again, watching every detail. Her face clearly visible, no confusion, no doubt. The key in her hand, the way she forced it into the lock, the way she kept trying. The moment she stepped back, the exact second fear took over. It was all there, clear, undeniable. I didn't wait, no second guessing, no hesitation. I called the police, calm voice, simple explanation. Someone tried to break into my house. I have full video proof. That's all they needed. 16, when reality hit. The police arrived not long after, lights flashing quietly outside, breaking the silence of the street. Karen was gone by then. Of course she was. But that didn't matter anymore, because the real evidence wasn't outside. It was inside, saved, waiting. I showed them the footage. Didn't say much, just let the video speak. They watched carefully, focused, serious. Rewound it, played it again, slowed it down. One officer leaned in slightly, eyes narrowing at the screen. Then he paused the video right at the moment, the key touching the lock. He looked at me and asked, "Is that her trying to unlock your door?" I nodded. No emotion, just confirmation. He looked at his partner, then back at the screen, and said, "That's attempted unlawful entry." Simple words, but heavy, final, real. And hearing that out loud made everything official. The next day, like nothing happened. You'd think after something like that, she would stay away, lay low, disappear. But Karen did the exact opposite. The next day, she came back, in broad daylight. Same house, same door, same person, but completely different attitude. She knocked, calm, controlled, almost casual, like the night before never happened, like she didn't try to break into my house at 4 a.m. I didn't open the door, no chance.
I stayed inside, watched through the camera, and spoke through the system. My voice calm, direct. Why were you here at 4 a.m.? Silence. Not long, just a second. But it was enough. Because that, just like always, she tried to recover. That same smile appeared again. But this time, it didn't work. It looked forced, tight, unnatural. And she said, I was doing a routine inspection. Routine inspection. At 4 in the morning. With a key. To my house. The excuse didn't even make sense. Not logically, not legally, not in any way. And she knew it.
That's when I leaned closer to the mic and said something simple, something direct, something she couldn't escape from. You're on camera. A pause. Everything. And just like that, everything changed again. Her face dropped instantly. The smile disappeared. The confidence faded. The control gone. No response. No argument. No explanation. Just silence. Because in that moment, she realized something even worse than the night before. This time, she couldn't walk away from it.
Part 3. The truth finally comes out. A few days later, something shifted. You know that feeling when everything is quiet on the surface, but underneath, things are moving, slowly, quietly, building. That's exactly what was happening. At first, nothing obvious, no confrontation, no drama, just silence. But then, little by little, the truth started to come out. It began with whispers, neighbors talking, small conversations happening behind closed doors, questions being asked, doubts forming. Because what I had wasn't just a complaint, it wasn't just a story, it was proof, clear, undeniable. And once people started hearing about it, they couldn't ignore it anymore. The lies start falling apart. That's when I found out something shocking. Karen hadn't just targeted me, no. She had been telling other HOA members something completely false, something serious. She claimed she had special authority, special permission, special access rights. According to her, she could inspect homes whenever she wanted, day or night, with or without notice. Let that sink in. She made people believe that she had the power to enter private property, to check homes, to enforce rules beyond the law. But none of it was real, not a single part of it. There was no such rule, no clause, no legal document, no approval from the board, nothing. She made it all up. And the worst part? Some people believed her, at least for a while. Because when someone speaks with confidence, when they act like they're in charge, people don't always question it. But now there was proof, and proof changes everything. Warning, this wasn't her first time. As more people started talking, more details came out, and what we discovered made things even worse. This wasn't the first time Karen had tried something like this.
There had been other incidents, other homeowners, other late-night checks, other uncomfortable encounters. But every time, there was one thing missing. Proof. Without proof, it was just stories, complaints, one person's word against another. And Karen knew that. She relied on it, used it. But this time, she made a mistake. She chose the wrong house, the wrong night, and walked straight into cameras that recorded everything. The emergency HOA meeting. Once the truth started spreading, there was no way to contain it. An emergency HOA meeting was called. Not optional, not casual,
mandatory. And this time, everyone showed up. The room was packed, every chair filled, people standing along the walls, arms crossed, faces serious. You could feel the tension in the air, heavy, uncomfortable, like everyone already knew something big was about to happen. Karen was there too, sitting near the front, trying to look calm, trying to act like everything was under control. But it wasn't. Not anymore. I walked in quietly, carrying something simple, a device, small but powerful. Because inside it was the truth, the changing moment. No long speeches, no dramatic introduction. I connected the footage to the screen, took a step back, and pressed play. The room went silent, instantly. No whispers, no movement, just the sound of the video. There she was, Karen, standing at my door. Clear as day, no confusion, no misunderstanding. The key in her hand, the way she looked around, the moment she tried to unlock the door. The scraping sound echoed through the room, making people shift in their seats. Then, the barking, loud, aggressive, unmistakable. Rex hitting the door, Shadow backing it up, the intensity, the reaction. And then, Karen stepping back.
No more watching from a distance. It was like she vanished. The same person who once acted like she owned the neighborhood now couldn't even show her face in it. And honestly, that silence felt different. Peaceful. What really protected me. After everything settled, I made some changes. Stronger locks, better security, more cameras, extra layers of protection. But if I'm being honest, none of that was the real reason I felt safe. The real protection had been there from the beginning. Rex and Shadow. Because that night, they didn't hesitate. They didn't second guess. They didn't wait for permission. They knew instantly something wasn't right, and they acted. What that night proved something important, something simple, but powerful. You can fake authority. You can fake rules. You can even fake a key. But you can't fake instinct. You can't fake loyalty. You can't fake real protection. And Karen, she learned that the hard way. It all came down to one moment, one decision, one mistake, one moment she thought she was above everything. And it all happened at exactly 4:03 a.m. Final outro, cinematic ending. She thought she could walk into my home, like she owned it, like the rules didn't apply to her. She thought authority would protect her, that no one would question her, that no one would stop her. But she forgot one thing, one very important thing. This wasn't her territory. And when she crossed that line, she didn't just break the rules, she exposed herself. And my dogs made sure she never forgot it again.